Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a decent day. Welcome back to Spar&Brawl. So, as always, I'm joined by my co host Sam, and we just wanted to talk a little bit, hopefully, not rant too much, about a few things that have caught our attention in the whole American progressive world. But yeah, Sam, and make reference to a few YouTube channels. So, Sam, why don't you get us going?
Sure, definitely. So there was a quite an interesting uh, development, let's say, on the progressive left in the US. You had I think we talked about this before on on our show that Matt Taibbi and Katie Halper do this fantastic show called Useful Idiots. They have great hosts on, usually from the sort of hardcore left of the American politics. They had, by the way, the latest episode had Noam Chomsky on, which was quite good. Check it out for sure. But they recently the show used to be sponsored by Rolling Stones, and now they've gone to Substack. And they originally announced that it was an amicable decision to part ways and all that. So that was the official story. But people who were hardcore fans and stuff, a lot of people apparently basically went with the theories that no, they were probably kicked out because of their, because they believed that Russia's interference in U.S. elections was a hoax, Russiagate, as it was called. They interviewed people like Aaron Mate and Glenn Greenwald, who are hated by establishment journalism. So people started speculating that there may have been hands behind, and there are apparently some crazy conspiracy theories that Rolling Stones is ownership has changed hands, and because of that now it's hates anybody who's ever slightly nice to Trump, so or something like that. So apparently there were these theories, and so they, as a joke, they came on and said that, yeah, they said that Katie got us fired because she wanted Bashar Assad as the third co-host of the show to come on, and Rolling Stone objected to that, obviously. So and so the show had to be moved to, and they lost their sponsorship and all that. And then a lot of people took that seriously, including the best one and the funniest one, and the person who's clearly has not taken it seriously. But I'm not going to say his name, to be honest. I don't want to give him any more publicity. But not that this channel gives that much publicity to him. But there was this guy. He calls himself a journalist. He has produced a lot of anti-Corbyn content and a podcast uh, uh, against Corbyn, the former Labour leader of the in UK, who's a hardcore left-wing leader, and has called him anti-Semite and a lot of bad words. But he tweeted that Katie Halper and Matt Taibbi confirmed in a recent podcast that they were both fired from Rolling Stone because of their pro-Assad views and war crime revisionism. Matt Taibbi responded with, "Blah, your ear for satire is unfailing. If you're going to report this, do it accurately. Rolling Stone refused our request to hire Assad as a third host." And then he responded by saying, "Sure, Matt, it's always satire. You crack jokes while your guests cover up atrocities. Rolling Stones had enough, so you cracked some jokes about that too. You are the punchline, though." I
I
mean,
didn't
this guy is
realize that this person was actually also taking Rolling Stones like side. If the
yeah, yeah,
story was true, if the story was real.
no, no. This guy came at it from most of the people came at it from the left wing, and
Yeah.
we're gonna get to that with with a specific group. But yeah, no, no, this guy was taking the Rolling Stones side. The best one of he did a series of tweets about how Matt Taibbi is covering crimes of Assad and all that. And the best one was, Matt has quote tweeted me, the mentions are swamped with people going, "Actually, Assad is innocent, you head chopper." This is the sewage. He piped it straight onto Rolling Stone's platform. I don't know. The head chopper, uh, the head chopper insult is just fantastic. But yeah, this is the switch he piped straight into Rolling Stone's platform. Yeah, so he's taking the Rolling Stones. So even if there was a conspiracy to fire Matt Taibbi, Katie Halper, which clearly there wasn't, they did joke more about it this week that they said, yeah, they were happy to, propaganda for the Saudi war against Yemen for 80 episodes, but the 81st episode they just couldn't take it anymore. But so even if there was a conspiracy, some idiots were on the side of Rolling Stones,
Yeah.
but some other people, interestingly, were on the other sides, which we're gonna get to. So you had there's this new channel which you might want to give a slight background of because apparently, if I'm correct, recently there was some development with their channel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about it, but I'm sure a lot of people have heard about them, the Vanguard. And I mean, the only development that you could say there is that their channel has really blown up the past few weeks or not even month. And
What
it
what
even
was
it
there a
even
specific?
no, I mean, they always talk about just progressive issues and they have some less famous progressive people on. And I think, what did they do or say? And I mean, no, I don't know if there was one specific thing or what video really helped them blow up, but now they even had, so congratulations on that. They had Jimmy Dore on their channel on
Nice.
Saturday or this past weekend. So yeah, I mean, their channel has grown exponentially for the kind of progressive world that we're dealing with, of course. But yeah, that's the only background that I know. They both seem to be, American progressives, and I watch a few of their videos here and there.
All right. Well, they apparently they were
And of
another
course, they've
group.
made the Andrew Yang video that we're gonna get into that I took a little bit of issue with it.
Sure. But yeah, they were the group that they were one of the major groups that took issue from it from the leftist perspective, saying that yeah, this is a clear. They took it seriously. They thought they really got fired because, and they made a whole video about how the freedom of speech of the people is being silenced by Rolling Stones
I mean, okay,
and
so I mean,
and,
here I
and,
want to
and
come. Okay,
wait. And in the last episode of Useful Idiots, they did reference their video. I think they played a segment of
yeah,
their
not
video.
reference. That was an awkward 10 minutes.
That was a great. That was a very funny
Really, it
thing.
was really awkward. I don't know.
I loved it. But to be fair, I do realize what I'm doing right now, which is commenting on an internet feud, is exactly what they were
Yeah.
doing. But yeah, it was really funny. I thought that Useful Idiots had to respond. But go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off. I
But
just want
yeah,
to.
so I mean, you're saying that they believe that okay, that they got canceled because not can. I mean, I hate even using that word. That they left Rolling Stones because of the whole Assad thing, and of course they say no. We understand. I mean, they literally say we know that it's a joke that they didn't want to have Assad as the third host, but then they kind of go on and. I guess the fair way to say is that they do speculate that they got kicked off because of some kind of Assad related or Syria related take of theirs. But I mean, it's not the craziest
No,
speculation or stuff, and it's not journalism, of course. But I don't think they claim that it's journalism. It's just like a quick reaction video, and they kind of worked off of a joke that the useful idiots did. But I just want to make it clear that they didn't believe that, of course, that Katie
they
Halper approached Assad and then.
no. I'm not sure if I think they didn't believe maybe the host thingy, but I think they believed that it was their. I don't. I mean, look.
No, they do speculate. I mean, the whole video, from what I recall, like 10-minute video or whatever, they do speculate that it had to do with their Syria takes and all this, and that they've been, that Rolling Stones kicked them off because of that. I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think it's the craziest speculation if they hadn't made any comments about it. But when they had made specific jokes on their program about how it is not about that, like you can make
Yeah.
a speculation it was about their take on Trump or their take on Russia, or you can, or maybe or because you can speculate because they perhaps potentially make more money on Substack as an independent
Yeah.
business owners. And yeah, I mean, you can expect, but I think the way they put it at least was not
But and
very
then so
serious.
then when useful idiots are watching it, it's
It's
unclear
not
if
good.
they're mocking the Vanguard guys or not. I mean, that's what made
I
it
think
really
it's a very,
uncomfortable. It seems
I
like
think
they're
it was,
full out mocking them. I mean,
I
that's the
think they're,
impression I'm left with.
to be fair, I think they're just not focusing on them. Apparently, besides the guy I read the tweets of, there were a lot of people on Twitter going crazy with really crazy conspiracy theories about Rolling Stones ownership by some guy and all that. I really didn't deep did it deep dive into this. But so I don't think they were specifically focusing on the Vanguard, but
But
I
I mean, they
don't think they
watch their
were.
whole video they watch the video the whole
Yeah,
time, and they kind of comment on
I
there,
think they
like, they're like,
teased
oh, you
them.
look good with that hat, it blends in, it doesn't. I mean, I can't tell if they're mocking them or
Oh,
not. And then I looked at the comment sections.
I
Okay,
think
A,
they
the
were mocking,
Vanguard,
teasing
sorry?
them. Not, I think they were teasing them, not mocking them.
Teasing or mocking, I don't know. It was weird and very uncomfortable, to be honest. I mean, I didn't enjoy watching it. And then when I was reading the
Oh, I
comments, the Vanguard people think that they were genuinely giving them a shout out. A lot of people in the comment section thought that they're genuinely giving them a shout out, and I think they said, "Oh, we're gonna go subscribe to them and all this." But there were one or two people who were like, "It's sad that the Vanguard guys can't see that they're mocking them more, and it's not a shout out, and kind of like."
no, it's definitely not. I mean, it's they mention their name if that's what you mean by a shout out, but I think yeah, they're teasing. I don't think they're mocking them as you
Yeah. And I
mentioned,
mean,
like
Katie
so
Halper
much.
does not present them in the nicest way. Like the only context that she puts
No,
is
I
like
think
their
I,
shtick is to talk about progressive feuds and things like that on YouTube and Twitter.
but
So I mean,
wait.
she doesn't present them
First,
nicely, that's for sure.
but you don't agree with that. This I think even though that's not a nice description, that does sort of
No, I mean,
actually.
from what I've seen, of course, I mean, everybody makes videos about other progressives, just like fighting back and forth. Just think about the whole Forced to Vote, Jimmy Dore, and Young Turks, and all of them. So I don't think making those is a bad thing. If you exclusively focus on those things, then okay, maybe your channel is a bit useless. But from what I've seen, they only focus on progressive American stuff. That is true.
Mhm.
That could perhaps be a criticism. But yeah, I think they bring on people and discuss other issues that
Oh,
aren't just
they
that aren't
discuss
just
a
like
lot.
covering other progressive channels.
Yeah, they discuss a lot of Medicare for all the stuff. From what I recall, forced to vote was a big thing for them.
Yeah, and
But
I've seen them host some other smaller debates about, what should be done and what shouldn't be done and these kind of things.
sure, but I would say I think I don't know. I get a vibe from them of a commenting on commentators vibe, which
Hmm.
again, we are
Which we're
exactly doing
doing
that.
literally right now.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
exactly.
commenting on
On,
10 channels.
but it's I don't know, like from their titles, a lot of videos of them, this guy dismantles that guy destroys this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Like, yeah, yeah, but yeah, I mean, uh, I
And
think a lot of, I mean, I think Jimmy Dore is genuine, definitely in his outrage and stuff. But sometimes I feel like a lot of people are sort of trying to ride his wave, like doing the same thing he did. I don't know. I'm really speculating, as so to speak, right now. But it was just an interesting, yeah. I just found it very funny that some people they don't really understand that. Like I didn't even know about the shout out thing. That's very interesting to me. That even the second time has been misread
I
by
think so. I think the
public.
Vanguard made a video. Let me read the headline
Thanking.
of their video right now. They say, okay, it says, "Wow, the Vanguard on useful idiots?" Question mark, question mark. Huge shout out to Katie Halper and Matt Taibbi. So
Oh,
based
so
based on
they
the
are
head,
giving you.
well, yeah, but I mean, it seems like based on their interpretation that that they weren't kind of like mocking them. I mean, I don't know. I find the whole thing kind of weird. Yeah, they're saying huge shout out to Katie Halper and Matt Taibbi, as in like as if they were like represented nicely, which I don't think they were represented nicely. I mean, to me, it came off as that they were mocking them pretty much.
I am more on your side. I don't think I again I think mock is a very strong word, but yeah, and I don't think they were focused on them. They were just focused on
Well, I mean, it was like
a
they watched like 5 or 10 minutes, of
type
5 minutes of it or something like that.
person and a snickered basically. So yeah, no, yeah, but yeah, I think let's go focus on more substantial
Well,
stuff.
well, it's not going to be the case in this video, but we do focus on substantial stuff every now and then. We just put out a huge Christopher Hitchens special. Of course, we cover and we cover a lot of things going on with the nuclear deal and Iran. And yeah, we tried to have
No,
some
but I
substantial.
think the video about Andrew Yang actually, we are discussing a more substantial issue, which connects to this really nicely, basically.
Maybe. I
Because
mean,
and yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, I find the Andrew Yang video kind of stupid. And I mean, this is what they attacked Andrew Yang on. And I mean, my general point is that it's okay if everything that a politician does is not amazing. I mean, we're never going to agree with every single thing
So,
that a politician does. So
do,
if you have one issue with them, we shouldn't just write them off in this way, especially in a world where, you can count on one hand the number of politicians who might have potential for doing one good thing in their whole life.
sure, and let's just give a context. Andrew Yang did this interview and put out this statement, basically disowning the BDS movement, and
Oh,
then
but
with
this
this
video is not
video.
even about that.
No, no, but they do sort
Yeah.
of like they say, like, yeah, like we should have given hope on him.
And
Like
we
it's
agree that, I
fine.
mean, we agree that whatever you think about BDS specifically, because people like Norman Finkelstein don't like BDS. But I mean, I didn't like how Andrew Yang just came out. He said a lot of bullshit things about BDS that are probably not true. He generalized them and everything. And also, I mean, if you're not really going to talk about foreign policy and Israel Palestine issues, then don't talk about them at all. Don't just make one point on this side. That's what I found to be
Yeah,
what's
I
the
agree.
biggest
Yeah.
thing that's wrong with his whole BDS thing.
No, no, we largely agree there. It's just that yeah, there's been a sort of a backlash against Andrew Yang, and they did this video basically in which in the video they like they said that he's taken previously bad positions as well,
But I mean, yeah, and so in this
and then
latest video that they make, I mean, one part is really ridiculous. And they say, oh, this is not really the important part. We want to talk about X, and we'll talk about X. But they spent 11 minutes out of 16 minutes talking about the most ridiculous thing and saying ridiculous things. So pretty much it was like Pet Day or something like that over the weekend, and Andrew Yang posted a video of him seeing his old dog, this white poodle that he had to give away, and they make it seem like as if he just dumped this dog on the side of the street. No,
well,
Andrew Yang,
why did he ask me to wait?
because he says that his oldest son was severely allergic. So they didn't dump the dog on the side of the street. They didn't even give the dog to a poor shelter. They gave him to family members, according to this article I was just reading, to family members who live in California. So,
So
nothing
they
atrocious
inherited a
happened.
dog.
And yeah, and like we can't believe that they did that. And I just found out that another one of them says, not Zach, but the other one says that, oh, I can't believe. And I just found out there are, medication that you can take. I mean, you're not going to start putting your kid, if all of the medication works with all kinds of dog allergies or all this, I don't know. But I mean, I think you shouldn't put your kid on medication necessarily because they're allergic to a dog, and you're not killing this dog. This dog perhaps has a better life wherever lives in California. And I mean, it becomes really ridiculous. Andrew Yang posted this video. Of course, Andrew Yang is a politician. You have to, or he wants to become a politician. You have to put out cheesy stuff. I mean, just go look at his promo video. It makes absolutely no sense. But what do you want him to do? And they're like, the dog is like jumping near his feet, like his own dog when he goes to like revisit him. But he's kind of like shaking someone's hand, and like you see, he doesn't even care about his dog. And then Zach really made this one statement that really got under my skin. So he goes that I love my dog so much, and I can't ever imagine giving my dog away and all this. And then he says, "quote It's wrong to point blank, sorry, exploit animals." Now I agree with that, but I mean, what I would say to Zach is that, are you vegan? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is vegan or maybe he's not.
He
But
looks like he
perhaps
is.
he is. But I mean, if you're
To be
not, and
fair,
I've never made this point because you hear it all the time, vegans are like anybody who like feels bad for, you hear like mistreatment of dogs, like, oh, what about, all the other animals that, that your lifestyle leads to them just being raised in like a confined space just for you to be eaten, and they're mistreated in every single way. So I think if he is vegan, then okay, I take his point, fair enough. But if he's not vegan, I mean, this is really meaningless statement. So I would really like for others to tell me, or for him, or if they see it, if he is vegan and then he makes a point like this, quote, it's wrong to point blank exploit animals, then I agree. Because if not, it's very much of a rich statement. And yeah, so I also have a dog, so I don't want to come off that I don't like dogs. I have dog and a half, but yeah, they just take this whole, and by half I mean I kind of see my sister's dog and my dog as my dog as well. So that's why I have a dog and a
Oh,
half.
I kind of see my sister's dog, on the weekends, like secretly without my
No,
dog.
well, much more than that, but yeah. So I also love dogs, and I would never want to give away my dog, but I just found the
But
whole thing.
it's
And then they say this issue
America.
is not important, but then they talk 11 minutes about how much of a bad person Andrew Yang is before moving on to the second issue, which is more serious, based on, the fact that he had to give away his dog because his son was allergic. And, I was shocked that people in the comment section were also saying things like that, the best way to get a sense of someone who is the best way to get a sense of who someone is to look at how they treat their dog. I mean, Andrew Yang gave his dog to family members after finding out that his son was allergic. So, I mean, really
I mean,
insane video. Maybe we should get
I
the perspective of a dog. Hold on, one
I
second.
I look. That's the thing. Sometimes I feel not. I mean, I haven't seen enough of this specific channel to comment, but sometimes I feel for with certain channels that they are, to be honest, they are sort of their whole content is sort of based on a
Let's get Peanut's take on the
sure.
whole
Yeah,
situation.
if come here, if it's a hypothetical, don't get too panicky. But if he gives you to a family member because his children are, why are you blinking at me? But because his children are allergic, would you be emotionally distraught?
Or would you understand that? No, I don't think she would
Uh,
understand that whatsoever. But she has kind of messed up takes. I don't mean exploiting her right now, but yeah. I mean, who did you
she,
vote for during the elections? Oh shit, she voted
Trump,
Republican. Never
Trump,
mind, never mind.
uh,
Why is that?
may-
Oh shit,
to
gotta
be
clean
fair,
up the street.
how do you feel about people of certain ethnicities? Does he, is
Oh,
he?
okay, don't bring out her racist side. Let's not crazy here. But anything
Yeah, no,
else?
no. Sorry, I was just saying. Yeah,
This
I
is
think.
talk. This is
Oh,
called exploiting your dog, by the way. Because I
yeah.
closed the door to make sure that she stays here just for this whole bit. But yeah, you were saying?
No, no. It's just now. I think. I hope Vanguard does a video about you exploiting your dog,
Yeah, I
and
mean, this
and
is definitely
and
exploiting.
maybe a video about you having a racist dog, because that's not a joke. Peanut is
Oh,
certainly
she
voted
heard your
Republican.
name. Oh, what? Okay, I need to let you go.
Are you?
But no, yeah, she has like really messed up takes. That's the big issue. And of course, she's not vegan, so she doesn't really stand for animal rights, only for
Oh,
dog
really?
rights.
For dog.
That's
Has
another thing.
aren't there, by the way, vegan dog foods? I would assume there
There
would
are,
be.
and apparently it's okay, but I mean, I mean, call me a hypocrite, but I mean, I'm not sure if I'm not convinced that'll be 100% good for her. And people have made the point that, the dog food is pretty much all the scrapes of everything that's left after they made food for
So yeah,
humans, like these whey protein things, and then it's just the leftover of that. But yeah, good point.
yeah.
Also, this chair I believe is not vegan. I bought it. I thought it was cheap enough for it to be synthetic leather, but apparently leather can be a bit cheap in some situations.
So yeah, maybe yeah, there's will be a video about Peanut. You never know. Maybe that will be taken seriously.
Peter
But
the
yeah,
racist dog, but yeah, and I
but yeah,
mean,
I just think some channels and Twitter accounts, to be honest, their whole contents are designed just as a sort of pouring petrol on the fire type of things and exaggeration of certain um, trends or whatever.
exactly, and I mean they say that, and they also say that Andrew Yang is like a capitalist in disguise. I wouldn't say he's in disguise. He's
Yeah,
He
he's
very
really
much
open
says so that
about
he's a
it.
capitalist. I have a question for you actually. Is socialism still not capitalism? I mean,
Mm.
socialism and capitalism, all the suggestions that people make, even someone like Bernie, he's not he's not saying that we should get away with the capitalist system. I mean, it's still 100% capitalism. It
No, he's a social democrat, though. Socialism is different. Socialism is the public ownership of
up
all or
certain
major
of
industries.
public goods pretty much, but not
Now,
everything.
if you're
And,
real, like hardcore, like take, like I mean, it's when you're talking about any ism, there is so many varieties, and every single individual is different. But if you're a socialist, like traditional socialist, you would want all industries to be like a technical definition of it in the dictionary would say all industries owned by public, not by government necessarily. That would be if
but
it's the
even
government or state
even
benefiting.
non-essential stuff.
I mean, again, like depends on the which thinker and
So
which
like a shoe
socialist you
store
are.
or something like that.
I doubt it, but I'm sure there are certain socialists that would say that clothing should also be, nationalized and owned publicly. But I do think Bernie Sanders is far less of a. He's not even like a medium. Like he's more of a like he wants certain major industries to become partially nationalized,
Yeah, like
or
healthcare,
wants a
things like this, really.
healthcare. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not even he's not even that much of a he's a social democrat. Is like he's a slightly to the left. He's like what Roosevelt would have been
Yeah.
in many ways, like somebody who believes in a state like intervention in economy.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's unfair to say that Andrew Yang doesn't want to overhaul the system and then make reference to Bernie Sanders.
It's
Because,
I mean definitely Bernie Sanders has wants to reform the system more and wants to overhaul more of the system and is more of
perhaps,
a socialist.
yeah,
But still, we are talking small differences.
no, exactly. So okay, I mean, so the other thing that they do about Andrew Yang now, this is where I think you can criticize Andrew Yang a bit. So Andrew Yang put out this other tweet, which is really stupid, and this one he's getting a lot of backlash for. He says, "You know what I hear over and over again? That NYC is not enforcing rules against unlicensed street vendors. I'm for increasing licenses, but we should do more for the retailers who are paying rent and trying to survive." So it comes off very
That
bad,
sounds
very.
actually that sounds very reasonable. He says I'm up for increasing
But
licenses, but at the same time, like
Yeah, but saying that what I hear over and over again, making it seem like one of the biggest issues right now in New York is the fact that some people are running some street vending businesses without license. But yeah, I can see how genuine people who are not big corporations, but small business, and they have a license, and they're like, shit, this guy just came and did it
and to be honest,
without a license. But it comes up very,
and
very
he's
tone
running for
deaf.
mayor of New York, though. Like he's not
Yeah,
running for like I that makes much more sense to me than the BDS comment. Like you
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
no,
Or like I am against China's Uyghur camps.
yeah.
Like who gives a shit?
No,
Like you're
this is a
mayor.
real issue. One or two
Yeah.
things that Andrew Yang is saying, how he said that, he wants to put emphasis again on New York's nightlife and clubs and bars. From a mayor for a city,
That's
that
the
sounds like
issue they should.
something
Yeah.
that, yeah, exactly, that he should work on. And even this, I just think that what I hear over and over again, it kind of made it seem like it's such a major issue right now in New York in this way. I don't know. That's really what I
Fair
didn't like.
enough.
And then he went on to defend it, and he's like, I should have not tweeted about this, which is true, man. Don't tweet any policies or anything like that, man. It's impossible for it to come out sounding good. You know what I mean? Unless you say something super generic.
Yeah.
But overall, it has become this thing. I feel that if you don't agree with one thing that a politician says, one or two or three policies, then okay, this person, we should just write them off and they're complete fake and they're complete crap, without looking at some other things that, Andrew Yang has suggested. And what Andrew Yang, one of the clear things about Andrew Yang that is different from other politicians, which is that he does recognize that there is an issue with the status quo. He does not say, oh, now that let's just get Trump out and everything will be good like the Democrats. Far from that. I mean, we've talked about this. How he gets to these issues are different and has to do with his background and what he says with automation. But he thinks that the status quo is not okay, that people are working, but even though they're working, there's underemployment and they don't have enough money to put food on the table. And all of this, which clearly distinguish him from most mainstream politicians.
No, I mean, generally speaking, I think most people, yeah, they don't have patience for any
Yeah.
opposing views from the even the people who they seem to like. And
Yeah.
on a Katie Halper live show, actually, Brianna Greyjoy brought up this thing. She did an interview recently with the author of whose name I can't pronounce, but he's of Indian descent, and Jimmy Dore has actually made videos dissing him, and as a sort of a shill and a corporate shill or whatever or something like that. And people like some people feel like everything needs to be for them, otherwise they're gonna and they keep saying, "Oh, I'm gonna unsubscribe because of this, and I'm not gonna watch your content." Like, oh, please, like first of all, if you're gonna do that, just do it. Don't you don't need to announce it, right? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And yeah, and no two different people are exactly the same. Uh, I I mean, and the thing is, I don't understand what like the level of expectation sometimes to me just seems either idiotic or it's not genuine
Yeah.
because it's like Andrew Yang is like a lawyer and a politician. What do you expect him
Yeah,
to?
yeah, no, that's a good
Well,
thing,
what
and
like
you brought me
what
back
did you?
down to earth last time, to not like, of course, like any other politician, not to fall for like the terms that he says, human centered and these kind of slogans and all this.
Sure, no, and even Bernie Sanders, like people have their
Mm.
own interests at heart at the end, and yeah, they diff, and it's in terms of like, yeah, I just think there's just too much expectation from politicians that, I generally expect politicians to be corrupt and,
Yeah, yeah,
working for like they're trying to trick you basically. So I don't, and I think they tend to come from relatively mainstream, like right now at least, like usually people with great ideas don't go become politicians these days. They go into startups or go into writing or so. So
yeah,
I don't understand this thing that it's so surprising that no politician stands up for like the things we want or
yeah.
he's not a socialist. What do you mean? Of course he's not a
Yeah,
socialist.
or I mean, overhauling the capitalist system and stuff. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
we are
Good.
so far from that, unfortunately, and there's so many things that can be done in practice that will make life better. And I mean, even I don't. I mean, I think capitalism in some sectors makes sense. I mean, that's
Oh, you
just
mean
that's
free
just my
market?
take. Sorry. Yeah,
You mean
free
free
market
market? Yeah.
in some situations makes sense, but of course I'm not talking about education, healthcare, even childcare, and like hundreds of other things. Perhaps like some of these European countries we always hear about, which they also have a million things wrong with them, of course.
Sure. Well, that's a totally different and very big conversation. But I do think, yeah, there is a bit of a, I do think politicians should be, like, you should say that I don't vote for them because, like, you should never, to be honest, vote for any politician, as far as I'm concerned, really ever. But at the same time, you shouldn't expect them to be any better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't vote for them, and you should like people are so surprised at AOC's turnaround. It's not really that surprising. Her financial incentives completely has changed from when she was running. When she was running, she had a completely different set of financial incentives and career incentives. So I don't understand the surprise and like the feeling of we've been stabbed in the back.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Okay, all right, let's wrap this video up because I think my dog wants to get out. So before I
all right.
end up exploiting her further, let's
Even
wrap up this video and then yeah. So please let us know what you think if you watch this video in the comment section. Why we are hypocrites, what we're missing,
And
what
tell
we
us, should
should.
we do more of this type of video or
Yeah.
should we do more of a substantial?
This type of ranting. I mean, I had such better ideas though with what I wanted to do with my dog when I brought her on, and she was gonna say like a few more things, but it was my first time trying this, so I got a bit shy. If not, her views and takes and all this can get a
I
bit
mean,
messed
I
up.
mean, you mean Peanuts got shy,
Yeah,
not
exactly. She was
you.
whispering to me. If not, she usually like speaks for herself.
Oh yeah, she did more than speaks.
But yeah, okay, all right. Well, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.